He got the first down.
Score. It's 4th and 3.
College athletes all around the country are demanding pay for playing sports, but they are already being paid in the form of scholarships. A scholarship is when a student athlete receives money for playing sports at the school in order to pay for things like tuition, room expenses, and board expenses. They can also be paid in the form of education scholarships for their grades and their academic achievements. According to National Public Radio, student athletes can also receive stipends. Stipends are small amounts of money that can pay for things like travel expenses, clothes, and any other necessities athletes need. Stipends range from $2,500 to $5,000 for all these expenses they need to pay. A problem that comes up when deciding whether to pay college athletes is finding a solution to do it. Deciding who you would pay, how much you would pay them, and how you would pay them. College athletes at the Division I level, Division II level, and the NAI level can already receive scholarships, but what levels would they pay the athletes? Would they just pay the Division I athletes? Would they just pay Division I and II? There's no perfect cutoff line of where to stop it. Also, another problem would be, what sports do you pay? Do you pay just the main sports that bring in the most revenue, such as basketball and football? Do you pay male and female college athletes? Another problem that would come up between male and female is the male sports bring in a lot more revenue, and if they were paid money, I'm sure the females would demand pay, but their sporting events do not bring in as much revenue as the males. According to the Odyssey, the Title IX law forbids the pay of amateur athletes in sports. College athletes are considered amateurs, and to keep your amateur status, you cannot be paid money. An example of this would be Rick Pitino. This is my visual example for the speech. Rick Pitino is one of the most successful college basketball coaches of all time. In 2013, he won the national title with Louisville. He's coached at schools such as Louisville and Kentucky, two of the biggest basketball powerhouses in college sports. Rick Pitino got in trouble for paying college athletes thousands of dollars. There was a whole FBI, according to ESPN, there was a whole FBI investigation. He was found guilty for paying college athletes and using strippers to convince them to commit to their college. Rick Pitino was fired from Louisville and banned as a coach from the NCAA, and currently is not a coach anymore. The objection to paying college athletes would be that college athletes bring in so much revenue and dedicate so much of their time, it's like a full-time job. The objection to the objection would be that the revenue already makes its way back to the athletes through facilities, stadiums, the gear they're bought, the kitchen, all the food they receive, and all the special treatment athletes already get. Their travel expenses are also paid for by team buses, planes, all the expenses, all of that money paying for their facilities, stadiums, traveling, that comes back from the revenue they brought in by basketball or the sport they play. College athletes are considering themselves full-time workers. They consider themselves to have their own occupation, and that occupation being sports. We cannot disagree that they spend countless hours working at their sports to become better and to win games, but their salary should not be money. It is already paid in free education and scholarships. The scholarships pay for their tuition, their room expenses, and their board expenses. The bonuses they get would be stipends. Stipends pay for other things such as the food on their traveling when they go for away games, and clothes, and just other needs they have as student athletes. Overall, their salary is free education. Determining whether or not to pay college athletes is already its own problem, but if they attempted to pay the college athletes, that would create many more problems, which would cause riots and uprisings and many more problems. So overall, it is not a good idea to pay college athletes.